Raquel Welch is the greatest pin-up in Hollywood history.
Thank you, sir.
With that has come problems, both on screen and off. She's been objectified as a sex symbol. Off screen, she's been through a large number of relationships and marriages, perhaps because men can't handle Raquel.
Oh, he probably wants to know everyone I've ever slept with.
Raquel very rarely, if ever, gives interviews like this. So I'm imagining that when I push a little too far, I'm going to get a, if I'm lucky.
Well, I think I'm going to enjoy the whole thing.
I'm not saying I'm excited about tonight, but Raquel Welch was on my bedroom wall for at least 5 years. So, yes, I am excited.
He seems very nice. Should I be worried?
Wow.
Thank you. I think.
How many people in your life, particularly of the male variety, have been reduced to a quivering wreck when they first meet you?
Not really a lot.
What?
No, I mean, well, I mean, there've been a few, but I can't say they're just, falling all over themselves. I mean, I don't dress this way every day.
Well, you look fabulous.
I mean, I go to the supermarket like this.
I bet you do.
No,
Okay.
I do not. I do not.
Has beauty for you, Raquel, been a huge plus in your life, or has it been predominantly a huge curse?
It's been an advantage, I have to say, because if it hadn't been that the studio, when I first came to Hollywood, saw me in a certain way, which was not the way I thought they had seen me, but it was all about my looks.
In your book, which is a terrific read, very honest, but you said you felt about yourself that your breasts were too far apart, your eyes too deeply set, and in standard issue brown, your nose wasn't cute enough, your mouth a bit too wide, your hair too thin.
Well, I suppose that was about it. If you go back in time and I sort of channel my 12-year-old or 13, 14-year-old girl in there, maybe that's what it was like, but I didn't know you wanted to go back that far.
Do you think you're sexy?
No. I don't find myself even the littlest bit sexy.
Really?
But I can pretend. Yeah, I can
You've
pretend.
never looked in the mirror and thought, wow, I look hot?
Yes, on occasion, but it's not often enough. I mean, it just isn't, I'm not in love with myself or anything close to it. No, I'm really not. I mean, I always think, well, I could do something with this if I'm... but it's more like every other woman in the world. I come in and I say, oh, it's you again.
Your name, I always felt, also lent itself to being a sex symbol.
No.
Raquel Welch.
Well, that's my married name. I was born Raquel Tejada, and that would not have worked.
Didn't Hollywood try to change your name, too?
Yes.
To what?
He said, nobody will remember that name, Raquel. They'll just look at it and say, what is that? And so we think you should be called Debbie. I know, it's fun, isn't it?
Which is about, I mean, no offence to Debbie's, but it's not a Raquel, is it?
I felt like the Raquel was specific to me, and I was a little bit ornery, and I felt like I'm not giving it up. If I'm worth anything, they'll remember it. If not, well, then here's the acid test, because I will not be a Debbie. I just won't do it.
Your friend Simon Doonan told us that you have, quotes, sexual energy that comes from you.
Did he?
Yes.
I don't know what that means. I really don't. I mean, we all have sexual energy that comes from us. I mean, I'm not unique in that, right? I mean, you have sexual energy that comes from you, don't you?
That is the promo right there. I mean, this year you celebrate your 75th birthday. One of your main beauty secrets, apparently, is called bag balm. Here is a little tin of bag balm. Looks like sort of, Vaseline.
And so, well, it is. It's a little bit like Vaseline. You take it, and oh, dear, now what? Do you Kleenex or handkerchief? Well, it's, it's meant just...
Here, I was prepared for every eventuality, so here we are.
Bag balm is something you can put on, and especially overnight, so that when you wake up in the morning, you don't have, like, all dry crackly mouth.
But here's the slight problem I have with it. When you read the instructions on the label, it says, for use on cows...
That's right.
...thoroughly wash teats and udder with separate towels
That's right.
before each milking.
That's right. But not for me.
Your other secret is this little box here for wrinkles on the forehead and between the eyes. So how do these work?
Well, I just lick it. And then...
I think I'm having an out-of-body experience here, Raquel.
And then, wherever it is that you have a little something here or there or over here, you just stick it.
Could you
Like
could
that.
you demonstrate
And you-
on my
What?
forehead, perhaps?
Oh,
Just to show me how it feels.
Well, do you want a second-hand thing
I don't
that's
mind.
already been licked?
As long as it's yours, yeah. It's the nearest
Well,
I'm
now,
ever
it's
going
not-
to
it's
get
not
to my
gonna
boyhood dream.
It's not going to stick now, darling, because it's
Well,
been used. It might not work just the second time the same way. But there. And you have to just... You have to just hold it there for a little
Well,
while.
I bet we do, yeah. Oh, and then what happens?
Well, you'd wait until your honey is already half asleep and you go in and you put those on and you sleep in them. And then in the morning when you get up, you don't have all these little things, you know, waiting for you.
Raquel, let's find out how you became a global superstar. Raquel Welch, the screen siren who took Hollywood by storm.
This is a sexy, sexy, sexy woman.
Raquel Welch is the last of the great Hollywood goddesses.
When you look at the cinematic pantheon of sex symbols, Raquel Welch is front and center.
Thank you, sir.
Since her big screen debut in 1964, Raquel's appeared in over 40 films and is one of the most celebrated sex symbols of all time.
She's just a magnificent physical being.
She's funny, she's smart, she's sexy.
She had the best figure of all the girls. You know, better than Monroe, better than Bardot, better than anybody.
But off-screen, Raquel's life hasn't been easy.
Difficult childhood, a violent father, married 4 times, absolutely remarkable, tough woman.
Born Jo Raquel Tejada in 1940 of Bolivian descent, Raquel showed an interest in theatre from an early age.
I think that she really actually wanted to be a hoofer, a dancer.
She used to put on plays in her garage and sell tickets to the neighbours.
As a teenager, she started to turn heads in a series of beauty contests, and Raquel caught the eye of one James Welch. They married in 1959.
I mean, I always felt that she always loved her first husband the most out of all the husbands she married, really.
Raquel, still keen to perform, landed herself a job on local TV as a weather girl. But when she was just 19, she gave birth to a son, Damon, with a daughter, Tani, following soon afterwards. But Raquel had been bitten by the fame bug and couldn't shake it off.
I think that she really had that in her dreams, and she wanted to follow it.
Raquel left her husband and, with her 2 young children, headed to LA to pursue her dream of becoming an actress. And in 1964 landed her first featured role in teeny beach caper, A Swinging Summer.
Very groovy music, and she took out her off her glasses and threw down her hair and just like started wildly dancing.
Now listen here, boy. I used to be a square. No more, baby. 'Cause I dig you and ready to
Are you ready to groove?
ready to groove.
Then Raquel's big break came in 1966 when she was cast in a lead role as a curvy cave girl in Prehistoric Adventure 1 million years BC.
Everyone who's seen 1 million years BC remembers the grunting.
Me, Raquel.
But it was the publicity shot for the film that turned Raquel from an unknown into a superstar.
When people saw that poster, that was it.
She exploded through the paper.
But hello, Raquel Welch, looking totally sauvage in this ripped leather bikini. I'm a gay man, and even I got it.
For men of my generation, it was the prehistoric fur pelt bikini was the signal of true sexuality.
But what her army of fans didn't realise was the hottest sex symbol on the planet was struggling to juggle roles as a single mum of 2 children.
It's hard to look at that poster and think that's somebody's mom.
Like any working woman, and when you have 2 kids at home, you know, it's tough because you want to be with the kids at the same time you're away a lot of the time.
The Christmas the film was released in the US, Raquel faced a tough decision, whether to spend it with her 2 young children or accept an invitation to perform for 25,000 troops away from their families in Vietnam.
Say, Bob, am I standing in the right place?
She wasn't with me during that Christmas, right? And many Christmases.
Every time you make eyes at me.
And of course, on Christmas, you would miss your mother, and I did. I realized that she really cared about a lot of people, not just me.
A real dilemma for you, because there you are, you're in Vietnam with these very brave young men,
Yes.
all away from their families at Christmas, many of whom may never see a Christmas again. But there's your son, who's missing his mum at Christmas.
I know. Oh,
And I can tell even now, it's really, it's getting to you.
it does get to me. Do you have Kleenex, another one?
Well, you know I do, yeah, in my...
No, my son, my first baby, and he's all grown up and he's a man, but yes, all those times that I missed out times with them. But then when I did go to Vietnam, all those young boys out there were really not so much sort of men, soldiers, hardened. They were young guys, you know, out there facing death, really.
Let me ask you, I suppose, the difficult question. We watched the interview with your son there, and he
Yes.
got quite emotional, but his emotion was that he was now at an age in his life, I guess, when he could look back at what his mother did and feel great pride that you cared about all these young men.
Yes.
You know, as well as your family and everything else. And it would look to me like he now got it, which he maybe didn't do at the time.
But he maybe didn't do at the time. That's it.
Does the fact he now gets it compensate for the fact that he didn't get it as a young man to you?
I don't think that it compensates.
If you had your time again, what would you do? Knowing
Well,
what
that
you know
particular thing that I did, I don't regret. But it was the many, many other times that I wasn't there for Damon and Tawny that, you know, I can't replace those times. And it hurts me, and it's hurt them probably worse. Because that's their childhood, and I'm their mother. And I was their present parent. And then they had to, when they did see me or go to school, they had to share me with a lot of other people with ideas about me that interfered with their ideas. You know, it was a public thing. I wasn't theirs. They didn't own me like kids own their parents.
But just seeing the way that you have been so emotional, even now, looking back at that period, do you think it was worth it? Was it worth the sacrifice?
I didn't know what the price was going to be when I started. I felt that if I didn't follow my heart and pursue what I wanted to and always dreamt that I would follow that path, that I would never forgive myself.
Would they love you or respect you as much now, at this stage of their lives, if you hadn't chased your dream?
It sounds good. I don't think it works that way in real life. I think that little tiny children, it just takes away something from them that they cannot replace.
Let's talk about one of the most famous images in movie history. Do you remember the day these pictures were taken?
Well, I was on top of a volcano. While they were shooting all the scenes, there was this guy, unit photographer with a motor on his camera, and he was just shooting everybody because we didn't hardly have any dialogue anyway. I said, me, Luana, you, Tumak. That's what I said in the whole movie. Quite frankly, I never thought that any of it would see the light of day. I never saw these pictures until after I came back to Heathrow Airport.
When you got back to Britain, it was like an explosion. Your life was never going to be the same again.
I never had that kind of reception before. There was tons of paparazzi and photographers everywhere. Raquel, Raquel, Raquel. I said, oh, my God, they know who I am. How do they know who I am? And there they all knew.
Did you love it?
I did.
It must be
I did. I
fantastic
said,
moment, isn't it?
I thought, oh, my gosh, isn't this funny? I thought this was going to be one of those movies that was going to just make me a laughingstock. Well, it did that, too. But, and it's a breakthrough. It's a breakthrough for me. Every single person seems to know who I am. I picked up the poker at the fireplace, and I came at him.
I want to take you back to where it all started. You were born Joe Raquel Tejada.
Yes, this is good. Never
Thank
mind.
you.
It's very good.
You were
Very
born
good.
Joe Raquel
I was.
in California in 1940. Your father, Armando, was from La Paz in Bolivia. He met your mother, Josephine, when they were both studying at the University of Illinois.
Yes.
And you had two younger siblings, Jim and Gail. What sort of man was your father?
Oh, he was a tough customer.
You have said before you felt terrified of him.
I was.
I mean, that's an awful thing for a daughter to feel towards her father.
Well, there were times when I disliked him quite a lot, but at the same time, I had enormous respect for him, and I did want to please him. I really did want to please him. I wanted to come home with straight A's, and I did. And
You went for a haircut with your mother,
Oh, yes.
and you didn't like it.
No, because I'd had my hair in braids when I was a little girl, and then when I got to be 13 and I was going to go into junior high school, you know, I wanted to have a kind of a short cut, like all curly and fun and pretty and girly. And when I came home with that haircut, he did not like it. And so he ran my head under the faucet. He didn't like it.
He grabbed your head and
Well,
put it under
no,
the tap.
it wasn't drowning me or anything. He just, you know, this is what I think of that, you know. And he said, cut it. If you're not having curls like that. He didn't like any.
How old were you at the time?
Well, I was about 13, and that didn't go down well, I have to tell you.
He made you go and get it all cut off, right?
Yeah, he made me cut it all off, so I had very, very short hair then.
Like 2 inches.
Well, I don't know if it was 2 inches everywhere, but it was like a little ducktail, you know.
How did that make you feel?
Well, it wasn't completely out of style, but I just hated that he was clipping my wings. He didn't want me to be too girly.
He was tough with your mum.
Yeah.
And it all came to a head when you saw him throw milk over your mother in a dispute over some meal he wasn't happy with.
Yes, that was not a nice time. Piers, must I go through all of this?
No. I don't want to force
No, I
you
mean,
to... I don't want to force you to go where you don't want to go.
He didn't treat my mother very, very nicely.
How did he react when you stood up to him? Because you watched him
He
throw
was
the milk.
stunned. He was stunned.
You came over to him and you said...
I picked up the poker at the fireplace, and I came at him, and I said to him, don't you ever do that to Mother again, or I'll... And he just looked at me like I was from the moon. He was so shocked. And I was too, because it was not something I thought about. And I had never thought about confronting my father like that, but it was just an instinct. I just felt it was just plain, cruel, demeaning, and totally uncalled for. And she was every bit, well, what he was as a man, she was as a woman. She was phenomenal. She was a wonderful, beautiful woman. And I just couldn't bear it.
That was the moment when you said enough.
Yeah.
And you made it clear to him, and he did
He did back off.
Back off?
Well, I did. I couldn't take it. I mean, I just didn't. He just could not treat her that way. She was such a wonderful woman, and she was so dear, and she worked so hard, and she was lovely, and she was pretty, and he was just not treating her well. And I didn't like the idea that you could be with a man who would treat you so badly, and he's your husband. And I just thought, boy, that's never going to happen to me. I am not going to put up with that.
Your father died in 1976 at the age of 64 after prostate surgery.
He died very unexpectedly. I was away doing a live show in the Round on the East Coast when my brother called me and said, Dad's in intensive care and we don't know how long he's going to last. And I said, I'm catching the next plane. And so I left and I got home as soon as possible, and he'd already gone. And that it was just when he was gone, I suddenly loved him more than I'd ever loved him before. All of a sudden, it just came to me. You know, that he was the one that was so hard to please, and the one that I wanted to please.
And the one that you did please, as well. In other words,
I suppose.
It wasn't like he rejected success when you achieved it. He was
Well, he did say
driving
he
you
wasn't
to
all
these-
that excited about the girl in the fur bikini. I'll tell you.
Did he enjoy the trappings of the glamour that came with it?
I don't know. He never ever seemed to.
No.
I think he was proud, but I was still his daughter. And for a Spanish man, or actually for a lot of men, they don't want their daughter to be that.
Right.
It's much easier if their daughter achieves something different than to be a sex symbol.
Right.
You know, that's a very big conflict for a father.
You were known around the world as an international sex symbol, but behind the scenes there was more to reveal. In the late 60s, after the success of 1 Million Years BC, Raquel was the hottest thing in Hollywood.
After that film came out, Raquel Welch was known across the world and she was in massive demand.
Over the coming years, Raquel starred alongside some of Hollywood's hottest leading men.
There was Sinatra, Dean Martin, Elvis Presley.
Oliver Reed, Richard Burton.
Jim Brown, she had Burt Reynolds.
First time I saw her, I thought she's a wow. You can turn to jello if you don't watch yourself.
But Raquel was always cast as the sex object and was desperate for people to look beyond the bikini.
I have the impression from talking to Raquel that she thought she was going to be doing Chekhov and Strindberg and stuff like that.
I think she really wanted to be taken seriously as an actress. People, I think, expected her just to be, you know, this tits and ass lady.
I don't think there's any doubt about the fact that she was a sex symbol. If she was a good actress, they really didn't care.
In 1970, Raquel even went so far as to symbolically crucify the image of herself as a sex symbol.
She said, they're going to crucify me for wearing that bikini one day, and of course my mind immediately conjures up this picture.
But the photo wasn't published for 30 years.
I got nervous because, you know, I didn't want people to take this the wrong way. So I only released it about 6-7 years ago, but it was a picture ahead of its time, actually.
The following year, Raquel was finally given a role worthy of her talent, playing Constance in The Three Musketeers.
I think it's one of the first movies that she got to really play with her comedic chops a little bit.
She's a very brilliant comedian.
Oh, my husband.
Where?
In the Bastille.
She had to do all kinds of pratfalls and comic bits.
Stop her! Stop her! What is happening? Oh.
She was hilarious, very funny, and game for anything.
She got a chance to send up that whole image. And when you've been fighting that for a long time, you can't wait to send it up.
Raquel's performance earned her a Golden Globe, but the studio still wanted her for her body, and Raquel was engaged in constant battles as producers pushed her to go nude.
You can imagine the wise heads in the movie business saying, yeah, we got to get her naked a few times.
But unlike many of her contemporaries, Raquel refused to take her clothes off on screen. turning down jobs that demanded it.
What do you think of Playboy, a magazine? Well, I don't agree with his philosophy. But I think the paper he prints it on is very good.
This a key thing of Raquel Welch's career. She never went nude. She never went nude, and so it sort of maintained sexual tension to the end of her career.
I think that was mostly because of us, the kids, my sister and I. Probably also being somewhat, if you can believe it, there's some modest person actually sitting behind all of that beauty.
Everyone thought she was a sex symbol, but actually she's very prim and proper. And it sort of makes her even more attractive in a way.
It was a big decision to not take your clothes off. There was huge money on the table if you did that. What was the reality behind that decision?
I am my father's daughter.
Right.
And that's just not the way you behave. You don't do that if you're a certain kind of a woman, and that's the kind of woman that I was raised to be, and I can't change it. Now, other people will say, but you're an actress, you know? I mean, you're playing a hooker. Why can't you just show us a little stuff that you're hooking with, you know? And I'm saying, well, you know, I've seen a lot of movies since the time I was 7, and I don't recall any of these women who are supposed to be loose showing any kind of nudity in the golden age of film.
You did do a shoot for Playboy magazine.
Yeah.
What was the thinking behind that?
Well, they said to me, and I said, yes, this was about the, I don't know, 57th time that they came to me. And Hugh Hefner was always a pretty nice guy to me personally. I don't know what his lifestyle is like, I could guess, but... Anyway, I said to them, finally, I said, okay, because I had a movie coming out and I wanted to help promote it. And I said, okay, but I'm not showing full nudity. Okay? So if that's okay with you, and you're up for that, well, then I'll do a pictorial. And then I went away and I shot the pictures, and all the time they were trying to get me to do something. And I thought, oh boy, this is so boring. Why did I think that they would just honor it? But I didn't. And then I got called into the front office, so to speak, with Hugh in his bathrobe, went over to the mansion, and I brought my lawyer with me. And I sat there in front of him and I said, what's the problem, Hugh? And he said, well, there's no tits and there's no ass. And I said, but isn't that the deal that we made? He said, yes, but it's boring. I said, well, I certainly don't want to bore you, but that's the deal. And he said, well, I might not use the pictures then. I said, that's your call, I don't care. Don't use them. You still have to pay me the money.
What did you wear for the shoot, do you remember? For Playboy?
Well, hardly anything, but... I had my bikini bottoms on, and then I had a lot of this. And that. And that.
You were on the back of Steve McQueen's throbbing engine.
Oops.
You wrote in your book that your dating pool included some of the most desirable men on the planet. And you also...
Did I actually say that?
You did, yeah.
That sounds like you, not me.
No, that's a direct quote from you. And you helpfully included a list of possible candidates. So Warren Beatty.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to say about Warren?
Not really.
Is that because, I mean, the bad memories, or...?
No. It's just Warren. You know.
What does that mean?
He's been with everything. Everything that moves. I mean, he's the famous Lothario.
Did you ever, you know, test
Do you
his...
think I'm going to just say things like that on
No, I'm trying to get some glimmer of a hint from
you.
you.
I mean, I know I'm terribly dull, but that's not
Well, actually, you're about the least dull person I've ever met. Steve McQueen.
Yeah, he's really... Yeah.
Raquel?
What?
What does yeah mean?
It's up for you to fantasize about.
I think I can imagine
I mean,
what it
look
means.
at him.
Well, exactly.
And then he has the motorcycle.
Yes.
It's like
Where did he
it's
take you on
Steve
on his
McQueen.
motorcycle?
Around.
Where?
I don't even remember, do I?
You remember
like the-
being on Steve McQueen's bike. Come on. You do. It's a scene from Great Escape, isn't it? I mean, you're living the dream.
No, it's just Malibu, you know. It's down the Pacific Coast Highway.
So you do remember?
Uh-huh.
You're on the back of Steve McQueen's throbbing engine.
Oh. Now, that's naughty.
Please. Steaming down the Pacific Coast Highway.
You're getting a little carried away. He was lovely.
Dudley Moore?
Dudley was
I
adorable.
wouldn't have thought he was tall enough for you.
Well, I don't think he thought he was right for me or that I was right for him either, but he was adorable.
You said in your book you had a near addiction to men.
Yeah.
You plead guilty to that?
I don't know if I plead. I don't know if there's anything about it, guilty, but I did. I really felt like if there wasn't a man in my life, then there was no, you know, there was, what am I doing? You know, where is he? I mean, I need to be entertained. Where the heck is this guy I could connect with? But it was not, you know, you know, I started after a point to just think that that was just silliness, you know, that what I was really running from is to spend any free time with myself so that I could actually become comfortable in my own skin, that I was just frightened to be just me with me.
Have you learned to be comfortable with yourself?
I have, and I kind of know myself a lot better. Don't like all the things about myself, and some parts of really, you know, I don't like at all. But, and I'm not telling you which ones, but, but it's just, you know, it's somehow, it's like maturity. You just, I'm okay with myself.
You said that, despite your near addiction, that sex is overrated.
I said that?
Yeah. Maybe you think you're just being with the wrong guys, Raquel. In Hollywood, you had to play tough to stay on top.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the gorgeous, the charming, the totally delectable Raquel Welch!
At the end of the 70s, Raquel was still hot property.
She was dubbed the sexiest woman of the 70s by Playboy. Actually, I think she became more beautiful as she got more mature.
In 1980, she married her third husband, Andre Weinfeld, 7 years her junior. That same year, she was offered a leading role playing in the movie adaptation of Steinbeck's Cannery Row. But just a few days into the filming, Raquel was fired.
She was replaced. She was bounced from the film.
They said that she wasn't on time, she's difficult to work with, they couldn't get her on camera right, she wouldn't remember lines.
Raquel's reputation was in tatters, and in 1981, she decided to sue.
A woman telling the heads of studios where to go.
It did backfire, I guess, because, you know, she was then deemed to be, you know, trouble.
As a result, she did not have a film career any further.
Undeterred, Raquel found another path to success, TV movies.
She's really a good actress. She needed to challenge herself a little more.
Hang on. Hang on.
In Right to Die, Raquel played a woman dying of motor neuron disease.
Raquel has no makeup and her hair looks terrible, and she looks progressively worse as the film goes on.
She was willing to alter her appearance in the way some people would consider dangerous to pursue good work.
Raquel's performance gained her a nomination for a Golden Globe.
And she did it. She went in there and she nailed a really gritty, heartfelt, raw, vulnerable performance.
And when she wasn't shooting for TV, she was getting bitten by the fitness bug.
Are you in great shape and want to stay that way, but you're looking for a method to maintain your high standards? Then I made this video for you.
It's a test of any actress's career. You know, you're in your 40s. Dare you put on the Lycra and exercise in front of the unforgiving 80s videotape? And she did. And she looks totally amazing.
The book burned to the top of the bestsellers list, and her videos went platinum.
That's it. You did it. Great.
Throughout all this, though, the MGM court case was raging on.
Well, I testified for her in that case and was very happy to do that.
My professional life was over.
Well, nobody stood their ground better than Raquel. I mean, nobody.
5.5 years after she'd been dropped from Cannery Row, Raquel was awarded a staggering payout of nearly $11 million.
She showed that she had been blacklisted, and as a result, she was awarded a settlement.
As they say in Sunset Boulevard, you know, great stars have great pride. And they messed with her and she sued them and won.
She was very, very strong. This is not a woman to take lightly.
There was all sorts of claim and counterclaim and rumour and smearing going on. The studios claim you were fired from the film because one of the reasons the time you took to put on your makeup. Looking back on it, what was the reality about it all?
Well, none of those things were true. I mean, they proved it in court. They proved when I clocked into the studio, they had the time cards, and when I was called to work. I mean, I would show up on the studio lot at 5 a.m. I didn't work until 3 in the afternoon. And believe me, I wasn't putting makeup on all that time. You know, I was sitting there thinking, what the heck's going on? You know, it's strange. They're not using me. And this went on day after day.
Most actresses in your position would probably have just rolled over and said, OK, I've been stiffed here, and shrunk back into the shadows and hoped for a comeback. But you didn't. You stood and you fought them. And as Burt Reynolds says, I mean, that was you know, you're a tough cookie for doing that. What was the driving force to take on one of the massive Hollywood studios?
I didn't want to do that, Piers. I felt like I had to clear my reputation. Even if it didn't win me back my career, I felt like I needed to just set the record straight. What the heck do they think? And I thought, all right, let's just give them a story then.
In 1990, your son Damon married Rebecca Truman, who was the daughter of the cricket legend Fred Truman. And there was a famous ceremony at Bolton Abbey in Skipton, North Yorkshire, where you turned up a little late, wearing a rather daring low-cut dress, and the newspapers went berserk.
I know.
Accusing you of upstaging the bride.
I know.
Let's have a look at the picture, the damning evidence. You do look, if I may say so, a little risque for
yes, I know.
The groom's
Yes,
mother.
I know. Listen, I had come over on the flight, and I had a very, very sedate, you know, a mother of the groom kind of an outfit, all pastel and covered up and nice and, you know, demure. And then the photographers started arriving on the lawn outside, and there were tons of them. Like crazy amounts of press and all of that. And I don't know, I got kind of irritated. I just said, look at them all. I mean, what the heck do they think? And I thought, all right, let's just give them a story then. And I went to my closet. The only thing that I'd planned to wear was a darn hat. I was doing it sort of spitefully. I don't expect that Rebecca liked it too much, but, you know, she looked lovely. And look how handsome they were together. Fated marriage, if there ever was one.
Do you feel slightly guilty about that day now, looking back on it?
No. What? My son didn't mind, didn't care.
No?
No.
Fred Truman, apparently...
he did.
When you bent down, he was overheard saying something to you in broad Yorkshire. Can you remember what it was?
No, and I don't know that he said it.
It was, "Get up, we can see your knickers."
He never said that.
He didn't say that?
No, he was actually quite lovely.
He was?
Yeah.
No regrets?
No.
It couldn't have been perhaps that there were all these photographers and you thought, I don't quite look good enough yet.
No.
I'm going to go in the closet.
No, I was perfectly happy. That's what I brought to wear. The other thing was just in case we went out or something for the evening. I just thought, if, you know, all righty then. You know, you could go down there and be the demure mother of the groom. Another role she's playing. I thought, no, let's have some fun.
Raquel, in Hollywood, the very best have extraordinary staying power. In 2003, Raquel separated from her fourth husband, Richard Palmer, and found herself newly single in her 60s. The reaching retirement age didn't stop her working.
My mom is probably one of the most driven people I've ever met.
This is Raquel Welch.
Raquel Welch has had extraordinary staying power.
And her glittering career has been rewarded with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Don't take me from that angle. I'm not exactly perfect. I spent my whole career either living up to my image or living it down.
Any good Hollywood legend continually reinvents himself, and this is sort of, you know, one of her keys to this sort of 5-decade career is that she'll always find the next thing.
In 2006, she hit the big screen starring alongside Burt Reynolds in award-winning film Forget About It.
She was delightful to work with. A hell of an actress. She's gotten better and better and better.
Do I fit in anywhere?
Of course you do.
But Raquel hasn't got where she is today without being a tough cookie.
She can stare a hole in you. If she likes you or doesn't like you, she can give you either look. Fortunately, I never got the get out of town look, which I was afraid of, but she never gave it to me.
I wouldn't want to offend Raquel. She's formidable looking, and there's a rumor that she conceals the dagger in her garter.
Raquel has just celebrated her 75th birthday.
Cannot believe she's 75. She looks like a well-preserved 55.
Looks amazing, right? There's a reason. She lives a very healthy lifestyle.
I hope I look the way she looks, you know, when I'm her age. She looks incredible. She looks better than most people any age.
Still got it all, and she's free to marry 4 more men as far as I'm concerned, and I will still admire her.
Why do you think marriage hasn't really worked for you as an entity?
Because I'm too set in my ways, and I like what I do. I actually enjoy being me. I do. And I make a very good living at it. And I'm happy, and I don't have to have a man. He's not going to support me in that unless it's working. Unless it's working. And a lot of men don't like the fact that, I mean, they like it in the beginning. They like the whole attraction and the sort of dance that we all do. But they don't really like the fact that when we go someplace together that I become the person that's focused on, and they're, you know, it just doesn't
how much would you
work
say?
well with the male-female relationship. It doesn't work so well.
How much would you say has been your fault? You've admitted in the book, I think, to being self-absorbed, perhaps career-obsessed,
Yes,
etc.
all that.
So, you know, how much do you think of these marriages in the end perhaps came down to you just not wanting to stay in it and...
No, it wasn't always that. It wasn't always that. It wasn't always that. Sometimes it was because that people were with me because of who I was and what I could bring to the table. While I'm away working, they like to start controlling the finances and all kinds of other things. And when I find out about that, I'm not happy.
See, you're a tough lady, aren't you?
I'm not.
No,
I'm
I think you
I'm
have
just sensible.
I think you have a big heart, and
I'm
obviously you're capable of great emotion. We've seen that. But do you regret the marriages?
No, I don't.
They all gave you something.
I had real feelings for all of those men. I thought, you know, at the time that I was legitimately in love and that it was, you know, we could make a great life together. But it wasn't in the cards.
Are you still active in the dating scene?
Well, I go out occasionally, yes, kind of on platonic dates. I haven't found anybody that I really would swoon over. But I'm not unhappy about that, you see. Don't feel sorry for me.
I'm not. No, I've got a
just...
suggestion for you, based on everything you've been telling me.
Oh, God.
Of who I think you could be perfectly suited. There we are, look.
Oh, my goodness.
Would you like to get married again?
Actually, I don't look too bad there.
You look great, yeah.
What would I like to get married? I'm not too sure. I don't think so. I don't think I'm that good at it.
Are you still a happy person now?
I am. I don't know. I'm just content. I just feel like I've had a very lovely, beautiful life, and I don't know exactly what's around the corner. It's not bothering me all that much. Yes, I would love to do a really wonderful part, a kind of a third act, if you will.
And if you won an Oscar for this role, who would you thank?
Well, I never did like all of those windy thank you speeches. I just always think, just be thankful and just say, thank you.
Well, Raquel, thank you very much. I have thoroughly enjoyed your work tonight.
Thank you.
Well, we are live this weekend and anything could happen. All new X Factor continues tomorrow and Sunday at 8. Then the fabulous Joan Collins joins Jonathan Ross at 10:10. And on Sunday, things get emotional. It's the last in the series of Downton Abbey at 9. Coming up, we've the news next.